As the newlyweds sign the register, the music playing, the Proclaimers' "I'm Gonna Be 500 Miles" could not have been more apt. Tom and Hannah Ball were forced to live apart for months during the COVID pandemic, socially distancing and staying extra vigilant for almost 2 years, and were separated once again when Tom found success on Britain's Got Talent. It was then that the song came to mean so much to the couple. After coming third on the ITV show, Tom's life changed forever. Now, instead of a daily commute to a West Sussex classroom, the former drama and music teacher is more likely to be found in concert across the globe. But while he's busy wowing fans, 25-year-old children's nurse Hannah is left at home. Speaking of their special song, Tom, 24, tells us, "Hannah sent me a slowed-down version of 'I'm Gonna Be 500 Miles' while I was on a work trip to Norway. I was starting to do shows around the world and it brought back memories of us being apart in the pandemic. It's a lovely song with a nice meaning." Hannah adds, "It's even more relevant to us as Tom's music takes off. I can't always accompany him on trips due to my shifts, but I know he'll be coming home to me." Tom's jaw-dropping audition for this year's Britain's Got Talent, in which he sang Sam Smith's James Bond theme writings on the wall, led judge Amanda Holden to proclaim him one of the best singers the show had seen for 16 years. He went on to win his semi-final with a version of Conchita Wurst's Rise Like a Phoenix, and in the final he performed a spectacular rendition of the 1970 Tom Jones hit "I, Who Have Nothing." Hannah and Tom's dad Chris were in the audience for his performance, which, she says, left them in absolute shock. Hannah says, "We went with the attitude that Tom had an amazing opportunity to sing, which he hadn't been able to do for 2 years, and it was a bit of fun. But when he got those comments, everyone was on their feet." Although Tom has left teaching to focus on performing, recording and writing, and has just returned from a trip to LA, he hasn't entirely quit education. He now offers tutoring via his online music school Tom Ball's Rising Stars. "I am so grateful and happy. It has given me the ability to follow my dream and has changed my life completely," he says. Tom and Hannah met through an online dating website in 2017. However, they soon discovered they had acquaintances in common, including Hannah's sister, who had been in the same theater group as Tom. Hannah had actually seen Tom singing in an amateur production of Miss Saigon when he was aged about 12. "I specifically remember this one song at the beginning of Act 2, recalls Hannah. "It gave me goosebumps. To this day, I like Tom singing that song." On their first date, in Brighton, the pair went bowling and spent 2 hours just walking along the seafront. Hannah says, "We just clicked. We saw each other again the next day and moved in together 18 months later." Tom adds, "It's easy to talk to her. She's kind and caring. When I told her about my diabetes, she wasn't fazed, just supportive. I was 8 when I was diagnosed and it's a massive part of my life, but it doesn't hold me back. I'm proud to say I've just become an ambassador for Diabetes UK." During the pandemic, Tom's health was a real concern, as diabetes sufferers are at higher risk from COVID. As Hannah was in her final year of training to be a nurse, she was in danger of exposing him to the virus. The couple initially stayed with Tom's parents during the first lockdown. But when Hannah returned to her job, she moved in with her own parents, sometimes staying alone at the flat she'd previously been sharing with Tom, to avoid traveling when she had a run of shifts. It wasn't until COVID numbers started falling that Hannah rejoined Tom at his parents' house, and this year they were able to buy their own home. When the pandemic hit, I was on a placement and we were initially told not to come in, Hannah says. We were then given the option to return to our placement, get paid and complete the year, postpone a year or leave the course. It was a tough call because I knew returning to work meant I couldn't be with Tom. He adds, we couldn't be together at all for 2 or 3 months from mid-April 2020. It was a horrible time. I was also worried about Hannah getting sick, especially when they moved her to the adult ward. When Boris Johnson, then Prime Minister, relaxed restrictions, we started to meet for a walk once a week. Eventually, Hannah could come to the garden and sit socially distanced from me. I was grateful for the time we got to spend together, but seeing each other made it 10 times harder, especially when we had to say goodbye. It wasn't the best experience, but it made us stronger. When I go away for work now, a week feels like nothing. In December 2019, Tom surprised Hannah by proposing during a trip to the Isle of Wight. He says, we did zookeeping with monkeys for the day, then drove to a beautiful spot called Broughton Down. I asked Hannah to get out of the car to look at the view and she refused because it was windy and raining. Eventually, I convinced her and I asked her to marry me. It's the only surprise I've managed to keep from her. Their wedding, which took place last month, was a relaxed affair with 65 guests at a manor house near Crawley in West Sussex. The couple walked back down the aisle to Bill Withers' lovely day. Tom was determined one thing wouldn't happen on his big day: he would not serenade his bride. I went to my sister's wedding earlier this year and she was insistent that I would not sing, even when people were asking, he says. That day was about her and I wanted our wedding day to be about the two of us. For more on Tom's Rising Stars online music school, visit Tumol's Rising Stars. For more on diabetes, see diabetes.org, UK.